do this as a beginner or as a more advanced practitioner and get a lot of value out of this. So these drills build on each other. If we can fight more so toward their back, that'll be better. He can knee me, hit me on the head, and tell me to drop the weapon. Drop the weapon! So what we're going to be working on today is we worked on stick defense this last week, which involves a lot of clinch work. So we'll be operating from a clinch and specifically using overhooks and movement and stepping patterns to try to get around toward the back of our partner. Obviously, if we can fight more so toward their back, then that'll be better than fighting to the front, especially if they have like a blunt weapon. All right, so Nick, come on over for me. Okay, so what we're gonna do first is we're gonna start off with just some footwork. We wanna be able to circle toward our partner, so we start off just measuring a hand, so like an arm's distance away. And then I'm gonna start leading and circling toward my left side with my left hip, left foot, and left shoulder. So I'm gonna start moving, taking one step, taking another step, turning in and placing my foot in between his stance, grabbing the hip and the arm, driving and pushing. Now, obviously, you can do this faster or slower depending on your level. Then I go to the right side, same thing. I take one step, I take another step. This hand blocks his elbow line, so if he tries to move his elbow toward me or elbow me in the face, I have that covered, then I drive. Now it's Nick's turn to do the exact same thing to me. So we go here, boom, he steps around me, here, cutting that angle nice and close, nice and tight, driving, just like that. This has been our warm-up for about the entire week. Now, Nick assumes a T-pose. So what the T-pose is he just brings his arms up like this. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the exact same stepping footwork. So I step once, step twice, wrap, and then pull coming around the back. So my specific grip is I wanna come up around the arm here. I can grab the back of the head, and I can grab my shirt. I can even grab my own arm if I want this to be super secure. And then I step and pull him down toward the ground. So I'm gonna still do that same exact footwork, but now his arm is in the way, so I can't take his back. If his arm was down, I could just walk around him and take his back. But he's not gonna allow that, so he brings his arm up, and I wrap here, grab, step, pull. And then I do the same thing to the other side, and Nick does the exact same thing to me. So that's our first two levels. So Nick has me inside of this clinch here. So we start off here like this. What I'm gonna start trying to do is I'm gonna start trying to check the integrity of my partner's grips and grabs. So I wanna bring his attention to a few things. Number one is his leg close enough for me to touch and grab? Because if his leg is close enough to touch and grab, I can grab him and start driving him over to take him down. So from here, he needs to make sure that it's away from me and that he's constantly circling toward my back the entire time that we're doing this drill. Second thing I want to check is I start pushing in, pulling at his elbow to see if I can dislodge it. Because if I can start changing that position there. So I want to keep those things in mind throughout the entire time I'm drilling. So we'll do like a 1-minute drill where I'm just trying to pull, trying to push. I'm not just trying to stand up and walk away out of this. I'm trying to stay in this problem for a little longer than would be realistic and just focus on these things. Here, firming them up. He's constantly moving and angling toward my back and pulling me toward the floor. Good. Dizzy. We can add in 2 more problems to really focus on. So, first one is, if I step my foot around his foot. So this is a change in position. Notice now I have access to this leg and I can start driving him toward the outside. So if I get my foot around his foot, I have takedowns there, but I also have sweeps coming backwards. So it's it's not a good position. So as I step my foot around, he re-steps his foot. Every time I try to gain that position, he re-steps. We can focus as well on if he does move around me and his foot is too close to mine, that I can start trying to lift him and then change position and off balance there as well. So now we have paying attention to the legs, moving the arm and the hand, stepping around him here, or lifting here like that. So we have all those pieces of the puzzle for me and my partner to focus on. So now when I'm in the drill, Nick grabs me and holds onto this, and now we touch and grab and move here. I try to kick back and up. He's constantly trying to move around me. Boom, here like this. Now, oftentimes people will do this inside the drill. So they'll think that they have a really clever way out of this. And that clever way out of this is I just bring my hand in front, here like this, and then he doesn't have a grab on me. Well, if you remember, we talked about taking the back. And now I remove the one obstacle that was separating me from getting my back taken. It's better if you leave your hand in there during this drill, but if there's a lot of tension or pressure on your shoulder and he's really, really cranking on it and I'm like, ugh, that hurts, I can bring it around, tap out, and then reset the drill. Okay, so this drill is not worth a shoulder injury. It's not a tournament, it's not a fight. So if you have some pain or pinching and you need to bring it around, do it. Okay, but if that doesn't happen, we want to keep it there because that's the only thing right now that's stopping him from taking my back the entire way. Okay, so keep it in there the entire drill. Now we can add striking. So striking is the third level to this. So our strike is going to be a knee strike. Now we can target the groin, solar plexus, face and neck. So anything along this front chain. My preference for self-defense is obviously groin and face. The reason is chest shots and stomach shots are much easier to grab and hold on to. If he has the angle to hit me in the groin as I turn, it's gonna be harder for me to hold on to this because it's not high enough up in my chest for me to get a great hold on it. So it's easy for him to rip that back and then do this again. Same with my face. It's hard for me to grab it as it's going into my face. That'll really suck. Right? I might get it, but it's not worth it getting kneed in the face for that. Those are my two preferred spots. You can hit the chest and the solar plexus. That is absolutely an effective shot, but the risks of being grabbed are a whole lot higher. So if you're training for self-defense as opposed to ring sports, I advocate for the groin and the face, not the midsection of the chest here. Okay, so when you're here, he starts to move around me. So we're doing the same drill, trying to pull, pluck at the arms, lift maybe, step out to the outside, but I have a new trigger. When I stand up and turn, he's gonna give that knee, okay? Because I might wanna do this. I might just wanna rip up and try to grab him like this. He throws that knee and then pushes back and away and then comes back into the drill. So for the sake of drilling, we're obviously not crushing our partner with a knee to the groin. So when I turn in toward him, he throws a knee and I react as though it landed and then come back down and continue the drill. So what that looks like is this. One more time. I grab here, step around, I can lift a little bit, I step, turn, boom, he throws that knee. And all I'm trying to do is get my partner to react to these things. Time. That is the drill added in with striking. Okay, so a good piece of equipment for this next drill is gonna be a belly pad. So what we're gonna do now is Nidja's gonna practice throwing knees at more full power. So he gets hard knees in, and with that hard knee though comes a full commitment of his body weight into that, leaves me the ability to grab a little bit better. What we're gonna do is we're gonna do the exact same drill here like this with the belly pad on. I can still have all these pieces of the puzzle. When I turn toward him, he rips that knee and drives. Now, if I end up grabbing it, what he can't do is keep his hips here. He has to use his collar tie on my neck, pushing my face away, and he kicks his leg back almost like a back kick. He goes here and pushes my face away and rips back and then continues to step around toward my back. Then if I turn, drive into him, boom, knee again. We didn't add that piece of the puzzle to this, going for a little bit more contact and then adding in all those other pieces. This is a lot of awareness, especially if you have a foundation student who's just starting and this is like their first or second class. There's a lot of stuff to pay attention to inside of a clinch. And if you're more advanced, then obviously you can play this a lot rougher with takedowns possibly out of this, and that can really amp up this drill. So you can do this as a beginner or as a more advanced practitioner and get a lot of value out of this. Now we're gonna add in the stick, because I told you that I would do weapons and I haven't touched the weapon yet. So we have a few different weapons here. We have a longer weapon and a shorter weapon. Not all blunt objects are the same size. So we could have wrenches, hammers that are about this long, and then, you know, sticks or tire iron, you know, that's like this long. So we have different lengths and different tools. So now when I swing, what Nick needs to do is he needs to protect his skull. Obviously, he does not want to fracture his skull, so he's gonna bring his hands up to try and protect this. But he doesn't want to create any hard angles. So as he brings his forearm up, They need to be straight here like this, so that if it does impact, it tends to slip off from one side to the other. It can't be a hard angle, because if I impact that hard angle, that's a broken forearm. Obviously, that is better than your head, but not much better because of the strikes coming next. Now that arm might be not very operable. So when I swing, he brings both hands up, dives through, and he's gonna wrap in that overhook position and then driving down here to that collar tie. Then we play the same drill in the same game that we did earlier. So these drills build on each other. We can obviously get into all sorts of like disarms. We'll do those in another video, so follow our channel for more of that kind of stuff, but now we're gonna do the final drill for this. He's gonna have his eyes closed, and I can move anywhere within the front 180 of his body, meaning I can't move toward his back and just smack him in the back of the skull. There's no defense for that, so that's kind of not a great drill. We'll stick to the front 180, and what I'm gonna do is I'll initiate this with a push and then a swing. So notice the push and then the swing, they're not simultaneous. One happens and then the other one happens, making him react to this. And then we can play for a second here like this. He's trying to drive around. He can knee me, hit me on the head, and tell me to drop the weapon. Drop the weapon! Good, very nice. Issuing verbal commands the entire time. So we have quite a few drills there. That takes at least 30 minutes if you're doing all those in like rounds of 2 minutes. So it's a great drill to get people used to the clinching aspect of a blunt weapons defense. Follow for a lot more of this, and we'll try and do these videos weekly.